Greetings, dear viewers, and welcome to another interesting, fascinating episode of the Pathfinder Kingmaker Mega Mod Last Azanti Challenge, where last time the video got cut off due to technical difficulties. My apologies. But that giant daemon that we were fighting, yeah, it wasn't so difficult to kill after getting a bunch of natural 20s and critically hitting the thing to death. It just took a while. And then it's just, okay, courtesy teleport back to Oleg's. Didn't care that I was basically violating the no spell slot thing, but, you know, if I were to actually have... that's right. If teleport were to be in the game, I absolutely would have gotten a wand of it, or some item to cast teleport X times a day as backup. So, here we are. We're about to depart for Restov after I show you my Royal Advisory Committee. And yes, just showing you that Excelsior is still dead after tanking that giant daemon. So, we have our Regent, who is a lawful good Aerosong Bard. We have a Counselor, who is a true neutral Cleric. We have our Magister, eventually, who is a true neutral Druid. And we have the Treasurer, who is necessary, because we don't start with the Treasurer, even though the game really wants us to have one. Who is a lawful good Exploiter Wizard. Alright, so I chose these classes because they give me access to a bunch of crafting abilities. So, I really like Arcane Concordance from Bards. That's the main reason we have this. I like being able to cast Heal and Harm, and certain other things, which is the main reason we have this. She's around here so that we can get Greater Magic Fang on an item X times a day. And he's around here because I like getting Wish and Heroic Invocation. Both double 9 spells ASAP. So, dear viewership, let's depart for our destiny. The victory feast over the Stag Lord, which feels like a really long time ago now. Let's begin with a subscription and a like and a smile and a subscription and a like. Thank you. Restov awaits. I plan to set off right away. The fog seems to be thinning, but we should wait until it burns off completely. In the meantime, I'll gather some supplies for your journey to make sure you can enjoy your trip back to Restov.
Good work. Nice to see I haven't lost my intuition for people. Not many would have managed to set out to the Stolen Lands and return with the Stag Lord's head, but I knew you could handle it.
Of course, I'm a sorcerer.
Congratulations are in order. Today, you'll receive the title of Baroness before the High Society of Restov, and even Natala Sertova personally. God's bless her. Tomorrow, you'll be able to return to the Stolen Lands if you wish, but this time as a ruler. But matters of state can wait. For now, enjoy this feast in your honor. All the city leaders are here. It's a great opportunity to make some useful connections. Speaking of connections, let me introduce you to Kasil Eldori. He's my adopted son and apprentice. He's a trustworthy man. I'd like to send him with you as an envoy.
Charmondi, I would like to know what's going on.
Yes, you certainly have that right. But tell me, how well do you know Brevoy's history or the current political atmosphere? It won't be an easy explanation.
Tell me about Brevoy.
What's now called Brevoy was originally two different countries, Rostland and Issia. 200 years ago, they were stuck in constant squabbles. Then, Coral the Conqueror showed up and united the two states into one. Such diplomatic tricks are easy to manage when you have dragons at your disposal.
Yes, they are.
The so-called noble houses of Brevoy, mainly Surtova, Orlovsky, and Lebeda, once ruled over Issia. We, the Aldori, ruled Rostland. The royal house Rogarvia, founded by Coral the Conqueror, forced us into obedience. But 200 years isn't long enough to make peace with such a troubled history. Even 2,000 years wouldn't be enough for us to accept Issian rule. Brevoy is a country held together by a thread, and that thread grows ever weaker.
Okay, what's happening with politics that I should know about?
We, the Aldori and the great noble houses, spent 200 years under the rule of invaders, the royal house Rogarvia. We plotted, we schemed, we stabbed each other in the back, but open confrontation was out of the question. But a few years ago, House Rogarvia disappeared. No one knows how or why, but one day, their manors were just empty. And the force that held Brevoy together, that kept us from a bloody feud, ceased to be.
Oh.
Brevoy is currently ruled by the House Surtova, the former kings of Issia, but their power pales in comparison to that of House Rogarvia when they were here. So now Surtova and Aldori stand facing each other, staring each other in the eye, waiting for the other to draw their sword. It's an untenable situation. No one wants a civil war that would drown Brevoy in blood, but peace between us is also out of the question.
Then, how do I fit into your plans?
Rostland wants to regain its independence, and we will regain it. The power the Issians hold over us is humiliating and costly, and the Surtovas won't give us our freedom without a fight. That is, unless there is some external power that can force everyone to sit down and talk. Do you see where this is going?
I do. You want me to turn into a dragon and destroy your enemies.
The stolen lands are disputed territory. Brevoy can't appropriate them without raising protests from each of the neighboring states. However, if some brave people were to found independent states on that land, it would be another matter entirely. My hope is that you and your future neighbors, Baron Hannes Drelev and Captain Maegor Varn, will become our allies. But even your neutrality would introduce a powerful counterbalance to the aggression of the noble houses. Maybe, with your help, the inevitable division of Brevoy can occur without too much pain.
Well, if Natalia is already here, why did she let you grant me this title?
Actually, she could still intervene and disrupt the proceedings. But she's a Surtova. Their games are always complex and multi-layered. They're always looking for ways to turn defeat into victory. If she's decided to allow you to become a baroness, it means she already has some idea of how she can turn it to her benefit. Let's consider how she could do so. Maybe she understands that Rostland will inevitably separate and she doesn't want a war. In that case, new states in the stolen lands give the Issians a reason to sit down and talk without losing face. But that's an optimistic view, and truth be told, it doesn't quite match up with what we've come to expect from the Surtovas.
Something you may not have realized. I have killed a lich. One-on-one. I can destroy nations. I should be able to be like, you don't exist anymore. Therefore, we shouldn't be having this plot thread. But sure.
The more likely scenario is that Natalia wants to win you over to her side. If war breaks out and at least one of you stabs us in the back, Rostland will be surrounded by enemies. That might be enough to bring about our downfall. But you would fall first, and your newly formed states would be left in ruin. The Issians always like to have someone around to pull their chestnuts out of the fire for them. A piece of friendly advice? Don't do business with House Surtovas, no matter what promises they make you. Any deal with the noble houses is a deal with devils.
So, what happens next?
How should I know? We're in the middle of a big game. And today, you move from being merely a piece on the board to being one of the players.
Okay, so how does Restov fit into all of this?
Restov is a free city, proud of its independence from everyone, including the Aldori Sword Lords. But when it comes to Rostland's liberation, our goals align. This whole plan is our joint creation with Lord Mayor Yosef Selemius.
Thank you. It's time for my victory feast.
I hope you have a better understanding of what's at stake.
What do you know about my encounter with Tartushio?
Of course. Keston gave me a full report. You dealt with the scoundrel perfectly. It would be naive to think that none of your neighbors will try to stick their hands in your affairs. Especially that sly fox Iravetti.
I'm not sure I need an envoy.
Don't think I'm trying to impose a nanny or a spy on you. We're neighbors now. You'll need someone knowledgeable about Brevoy's politics to act as an ambassador to your court. If you don't like Casil, you're free to choose someone
you've
else,
made your
but
point.
I won't be able to enjoy your evening. When you're ready.
This man is obviously more comfortable on the battlefield than in the company of nobles. He is well built, but the expensive waistcoat he's wearing doesn't fit him quite properly, as though it was borrowed. He has a few pale scars across his face, and his dark hair is drawn into an unkempt ponytail with a few streaks of gray running through it. He greets you with a broad smile and a firm handshake. Let me introduce myself. I'm Maker Vaughn, the new ruler of Dunsworth. Your neighbor to the east. Like you, I'm about to be a baron. Great job with the Stag Lord, by the way. Not everyone could exterminate a whole gang of bandits with such a small team. Oh yes, I've already been to Varnhold. Thank you. How did you get this title of baron? Oh, truth be told, my team and I just happened to be in the right place at the right time. Jarmani Eldar needed someone reliable to take and hold the territory, and I'm the captain of a mercenary team. If that wasn't clear. Barnling host. Have you heard of us? No? No matter. We've done work for Jamandi before. This time, the task was simple. We just waltzed into the area, cleared it of the most brazen monsters, and built a small fort to hold the place. After that, a barony and land to own. It was a dream job. How do you feel being a noble? And looking at his rich clothes, Varn smirks. Like a pheasant on a plate. I've killed all kinds of monsters, but this is the first time I've so strongly felt like turning away could get me eaten. He nods toward an arrogant man in the other corner of the room. See that lad? Baron Drelev. He's not like us. Who knows what generation of baron he is. Didn't even shake my hand. You and me were like dirt beneath his boots. That's why those like us, the newly made nobility, need to stick together. Otherwise it will take my land and yours in a blink of an eye. Well, thanks. Bye now. Oh, goodbye. Once you've settled in, come pay us a visit. Oh, I already have. I have your Heart of Ira.
In due time.
Oh, Highlander, we skipped ahead in the plot, and you were my envoy. But I don't care about you. You're chaotic evil. This man's gorgeous clothes hide rippling muscles beneath them. He looks past your ear, obviously bored. Baron Hannes Drelev, he says offhandedly, emphasizing the word baron. And you must be the Stag Lord Butcher. I'm sorry, I quite forgot your name, but you took out the Stag Lord and his gang, and so Sword Lord Jarmandi is granting you permission to take his place, right? Well, congratulations. My lands lie to the west of yours, and I suppose we're neighbors now. Yes, I defeated the Stag Lord. How did you deserve your new dominion? A smirk appears on the Baron's face. I don't need to deserve or to prove anything. Countless generations of my glorious ancestors have done so for me. If I had a slightly bigger army, Lord Giamatti would have simply given all the stolen lands to me. Also, I don't have so many soldiers at my disposal, so she had to urgently make barons of the likes of you and Vaughn. So, you were just given land for being petty? Under no circumstances. I'll have you whipped for such words. Oh, you try to assault me and I destroy you, and your lands, and your ancestors, and make sure that you burn in eternal fire. I have no patience for people who boast such things. I am a sorceress, and I am soon to be your god. Do you have any questions? No. Goodbye.
I'll take care of it.
A handsome man with a weather-beaten face grasps your hand tightly in his rough, calloused palms. Unlike the rest of the guests in their festival clothes, he wears a simple robe. The only luxury you see on him is a holy symbol of Aristil made of solid gold. The other guests look at him with respect, some bordering on awe. Congratulations on your victory, Congratulations on your victory, he says in a deep voice. Allow me to introduce myself. I am Azanti, High Priest of Aristil and Rostov. Bringing law to the stolen lands is a difficult endeavor. I would be grateful for any help you could spare. Oh, this is a truly noble undertaking. I believe our community will be able to provide you with a reasonable assistance. We will help you construct a shrine in your capital free of charge. Thank you. I see you fought beside Germandi that night. Your god granted you impressive power. Ah, yes. I used to serve Aristil on the battlefield, but those days are long past. Now, I call on his power to heal those who have fallen from a roof more often than anyone wounded by a sword. Of course, someone has to roam the forest and slay the monsters, but I'm more useful to my congregation here, attending to more mundane affairs like hospitals, shelters, and charity fairs. You dress surprisingly simply for someone who is attending such a festive occasion. The corners of the priest's mouth turn up a faint smile. Oh, the nobles dress in silks and satins to stand out from the poor. A priest wears a simple robe to stand out from the nobles. Oh, do many people in Rostov venerate Aristil? They revere many gods in Rostov. They pray to Abaddon, patron of cities, and Pharasma, the gatherer of souls. There are also some more rare cults, but there's no denying that the Stag God has the largest congregation here. And no wonder. People here have lived off farming and hunting for centuries. Well, it was an honor to meet you. Goodbye. Oh, I'll still keep you.
I'm there.
Will you drink with me?
Of course. I'll drink to my success.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yes.
There's no wine in the world
Casey
that
salutes you
tastes as
with a
rich
cup.
as
Oh,
victory.
there's no wine in the world
But
that
still,
tastes as rich as
there's
victory.
nothing
But still,
wrong in
nothing
cheering
wrong
your
with cheering
successes with wine.
in your successes with wine.
But jokes aside,
Jokes aside, Casey
I
stopped
came
smiling.
to
I came to
apologize.
I apologize.
I
know.
know.
The words
The
I
words
said in
I
our
said in our
conversation with Lady
conversation
Aldari
with
may have
Lady
offended
Aldari
you, but that
might
was
have
not my
offended you.
intention. Oh,
But
the
this was
lessons
not my
life have
intention.
dealt me were not
The
easy.
lessons
I've
life
learned to
has
be
dealt
wary of
me
new
were not
acquaintances,
easy.
which is why I refused to
I've
join your
learned to be
party.
wary of
But
new
I hope you'll
acquaintances,
forgive me for this
which is
weakness
why
and for
I've
my harsh words.
refused to
And
join
I
your
hope you'll
party.
hear me out. I have something to
I
tell
hope
you.
you will forgive me for this
No need
weakness
to
and for
apologize.
my
I
harsh
don't expect
words.
everyone I meet to
And I
fall under
hope
my
you will hear
charms
me
and trust
out.
me with all their services.
For I have some... How amusing. Usually those who don't seek affection are the very ones who receive it. Anyway, enough sweet talk. As it happens, I came across some very valuable information. What brave conqueror of these wild lands wouldn't be intrigued by news of an ancient shrine, possibly full of great treasures? A place such as this was
I'm ready
discovered
for
by
this
my
treasure
old
hunt.
friends. I'm sure you'd like to finally gain your official title and celebrate your victory. And I don't like so long, friend. I'll call you so today because soon enough, all you'll be hearing is, Your Grace, Your Grace, Your Grace.
Well, there we go. Iosif Selenius, an older man with full sides burns, looks at you with interest through a golden eyeglass. Oh, well now, if it isn't the hero of the festivities, the protege of our dear Germonde. You pulled this all off quite cleverly. I confess I wasn't convinced your enterprise would succeed, and I even bet a bottle of my best Pataxian wine against you. But I'm happy to admit I was wrong. The Eldori have always been adept at finding new talents. I don't believe we've been introduced. Oh, so it would seem. I am Iosif Selenius, the Lord Mayor of Rostov. I rule this town and the adjacent lands. As your northern neighbor, I hope we can look forward to a long and fruitful friendship. So you rule Rostov, and what about the Eldori? Well, Brevol's politics seem complex and incomprehensible to many. Here in this part of Rostland, the spirit of the northern freedom still lives. We are loyal to the throne, of course, and may the gods prolong the life of His Highness. But here, far from the dominions of the great houses, we have our own way of life. It is especially important now, after the certain events that I probably don't need to name. The Eldori Sword Lords used to rule Rostland, and they're still the largest landowners and main military force in the region. But it's not for nothing that Rostov is called a free city. We are proud to choose the Lord Mayor from among the citizens, considered not by their lineage but by their own merits. Oh, what kind of events do you mean? Oh, Mayor Selenius gives you a patronizing smile. Why, an aspiring politician needs to be well informed. I'm talking, of course, about the disappearance of the ruling house Rogavia. Can you imagine it? The old man Coral conquered the land 2 centuries ago, and it would seem a shameless lie to say that nobody wished his royal house would just disappear into thin air. But once that exact thing happened, it turned out nobody was ready for it. Poof! All over the country, every member of the royal house disappeared without a trace. Nobody knows what happened. It is still a mystery, but a mystery pregnant with opportunity for everyone. Well, it was nice meeting you. Goodbye. Oh, please wait a moment. Your young barony will need resources to establish itself, and from what I have been told, you are somewhat in need of financial assistance. I could organize and supply everything you need for the construction and spread out the cost on extremely fashionable terms. Thank you, but no, I already have enough money, and I don't want to have to pay interest on this loan. It's your choice, of course. I just figured that I'd mention it. Well, how are things in Rostov? I don't want to boast, but things have been going well in recent years. Oh, the trade prospers, the population grows, and the citizens are happy. Although recently, especially after the disappearance of House Rogavia, more and more troublemakers have been appearing, and people are talking about the most shocking things, but those sorts of rumors aren't worthy of your attention. Well, goodbye now. You stay safe, and stop trying to sell me things that I have to pay back later. Oh, the feeling is mutual. I assure you, I look forward to hearing more of your dazzling successes soon.
I do what I must.
And now we need to choose an envoy from among Lander. He's somewhere over here. Who represents the common folk politically, but he's also chaotic evil. Castle Eldori, who represents our patron Lady Eldori, who is lawful good, and Natala Sertova, who represents someone else, House Sertova, but who is true neutral. Castle, you're in. I'll take it.
It's still too early for the official proceedings. Go, speak with the guests.
Natalis Sertova is discussing something with an unfamiliar old lady in a low voice. Upon noticing you, she breaks into a sugary, sweet smile. Oh, you are not only tough but quick. Well, congratulations on your victory. Enjoy it while you can. Are you threatening me? Oh, I would never. I simply wish to warn you in case you didn't fully realize the fate that awaits you in your barony. Oh, do go on. Oh, that's nothing good, I hear. The Eldari, our dearest friends, didn't deem it necessary to inform you of their plans, I assume. You'll see they're preparing to separate from Brevoy, and it will not be a peaceful process. They lack the strength currently, hence using this legal loophole to create some independent allies. Oh, once the civil war breaks out, your lands will be the first to endure a strike from Brevoy's forces. Perhaps we'll erect a memorial stone in independent Redstone to honor you. Well, I wouldn't count on even that, really. Well, what do you propose? Oh, in your situation, the most reasonable course of action would be to align yourself with the lawful rulers of Brevoy, the noble houses. The Eldari won't dare to rebel, knowing they will immediately become entrapped. You could help Brevoy avoid a civil war while simultaneously enjoying some well-deserved peace in your lands. I believe Jamandi has already attempted to impose a guard on you as an emissary. I'm guessing her low-born stepson, the green-skinned boy, Castle. It's up to you, of course, but I would recommend you a different envoy. Please meet Chandra Mervy, an experienced diplomat who's more familiar with Brevoy's politics than any brawler ever could be. The old woman standing next to Natala gives you a slight bow. Oh, I would be happy to help you establish diplomatic relations with Brevoy. Maybe. Oh, think on it. Do not make any hasty decisions. Okay, I'm going with Castle because I didn't take him last time, and I like him for story purposes.
So, how do you like our little gathering? I hope you've made some useful connections. My apprentice, Casil Aldori, will go with you, won't he? Whatever you choose, I won't argue. But you must choose your inner circle with the utmost care.
Give me a moment, I want to check on something. A handsome, well-dressed young man of about 17 years old looks at you with a polite smile. So, you're the famous slayer of the Staglord's gang, soon to be a baroness. Pleased to make your acquaintance. My name is Lander. Oh, is it just Lander? Well, let's just say I'm here incognito. Under my circumstances, it's wise to keep one's lineage to oneself. Truth be told, that's precisely what I want to speak to you about. You see, I'm an heir to one of Brevoy's noble houses. I won't say which, but believe me, a newly appointed baroness with no connections would do well to have a friend like me. I travel the country in secret, without servants, so I can see it for myself, not from a carriage window, but from face-to-face interactions with the people. My family would never approve, of course, but then again, I never asked. I need to know Brevoy if I'm going to rule part of it someday. I know Jamandi wants to impose her stepson on you as emissary of Brevoy. Refuse. Take me instead. Don't look at my age. While they may have trained this half-orc to swing a sword, I've been training to rule since I was a child. I'll be of far greater use to you both now and in the future, after I have a firm position in my family. What would you have me do? Well, it's time to go.
So, how do you like our little gathering? My apprentice, Casil Aldori, will go with you, won't he? Whatever you choose, I won't argue. But you must choose your inner circle.
For the Barony.
With the utmost. Excellent. Stand here. Lords and ladies, today we are here to honor 3 brave people who have done the impossible. They've tamed the stolen lands. Baron Hannes Drelev, the new master of Glenabon. Captain Maegor Varn, the conqueror of Dunsword. And finally, the tamer of the Shrike Hills, who put an end to the atrocities of the Stag Lord's bandits. Step forward. On behalf of the people of the free city of Restov, I confer upon you this noble title. Rise, your grace.
Victory! The Stag Lord's dead, and the capital of the new barony has been built in place of his fort. That was how the long and challenging taming of the stolen lands began.
Welcome, Your Grace. Keston salutes you. You can see he's a bit anxious, and now it seems he'd rehearsed his speech many times. Let me once again congratulate you on your victory, your new title. Oh, and your new title. Lady Jarmondi transferred me here. I am at your disposal, my lady. I am not one to bestow honors, but I want you to know I am glad to serve. I am here to welcome you on behalf of your new capital citizens. The Stag Lord's former stronghold will be a thriving city very soon. Word travels fast, and the first settlers have already arrived, with new ones approaching as we speak. While you were visiting Restov, much has been done here. Your benefactors, the Eldori, invested a great deal of resources in rebuilding the city. I stand ready to answer your questions and to show you around the most important sites. What citizens should I know about? Our old acquaintance Jod is right here. Aristill's clerics normally don't like cities much, but he's eager to serve you. Also, the emissary from Brevoy is here, waiting for you in the throne room. There's also this curious matter. An elf has paid us a visit. A blind elf. Desna only knows how he managed to get here. He seems like a peaceful, even pleasant fellow. Although, naturally, he's a little odd, so I let him stay a while. It's up to you to decide what to do with him for now. That's about it, I guess. Keston scratches his head. It is time to toast to victory. Keston hesitates a brief moment and laughs. Oh, I'll make sure to show you the moment we enter the city. The tavern was the first business that opened. Building a city is thirsty work, and I beg your forgiveness for my behavior during your reception. I drank a little too much. It is a day for celebration. What is the mood of the people here? I must admit, I've never seen anything like this in my whole life. A city, a whole barony born right in front of our eyes. The people sense this mood, and today we are feeling proud. As a rule, I'm not too cheerful or chatty, and normally I'd feel out of place among all the rejoicing, but today is just one of those days. All right, it is time to rule. It is time to prepare this world for their new goddess. Lead on, my friend. Lead on. Follow me, Your Grace. Soon you'll be calling me God. Yes, bow before me in worship. Thank you. Yes, please build some churches to my glory while you're at it. Please. No, because he was a drunken, manipulated sod. Oh, thank you. Thank you. The vendor is a bit fat for my liking, what he will do. Yes, he survived the trial of the Starstone. He became a god, and so shall I. I can breathe fire. And yes, I can be as tall as a troll. And yes, I can change my appearance too. I agree. Let's expand rapidly. We have a world to conquer. This, dear viewership, is where we end this video. Thank you, everyone. It's good being your Baroness. We like your likes, we subscribe to your subscriptions, we appreciate your positive comments. Good night, God bless.